Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Crunch Time. I am your host, Joel Moran. And these two Monday night primetime games were blowouts. The Bills blew out the Titans 41-7. And I don't think this game really told us anything new. We know the Titans this year, they're going to struggle. The AFC South is going to be a mid-off. The Titans don't look very good. The Colts don't look very good. The Texans, we know they're not very good, although their defense is playing pretty well up to this point. The Jaguars right now have a legitimate chance to win that division. And I say that because the Jaguars have a good running game. Their offensive line is pretty good. James Robinson, Travis Etienne. Their weapons aren't great, but Doug Peterson is a great play caller. And one thing that Doug Peterson in every single year that he's been a head coach has done is he moves the ball on drives. And that's what he's done in the first two games with Trevor Lawrence. And their defense is a pretty good unit. They're solid at least. So the AFC South is going to be a mid-off. But the Bills didn't tell us anything new. We know the Bills are legit. And if you're a team and you're not prepared and you're not playing at your fullest potential against the Bills, you're going to get blown out. The Bills in the first 2 weeks have blown out the Los Angeles Rams and now the Tennessee Titans. The Rams one was very impressive, and the Von Miller addition is just showing off to be one of the best additions in the offseason because he was the missing piece for their defensive line. And once the Bills get back Trey White, my goodness, the Bills are legit. Josh Allen had another spectacular game, and there really isn't much to say about that. The duo between Allen and Diggs is otherworldly, and the Bills are legitimate contenders. Now, the NFC primetime game was the most interesting to me, and I say that because you have the Philadelphia Eagles, who we all know they have a loaded roster, but the question with them is how good can Jalen Hurts be? Can he elevate the team? Can he put the team on his back? Can he lead a deep playoff run? Can he be the quarterback of the future for the Eagles? And with the Vikings, you have a solid group. Kevin O'Connell, an offensive coordinator who's now a head coach. Kirk Cousins, who puts up statistically great numbers and has been one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. But there are question marks, and there's two. The defense. How good is the defense? And can you trust Kirk Cousins? And those two questions were answered tonight. The defense isn't very good. Jalen Hurts, and I think Jalen Hurts is a fine quarterback. He picked apart the Minnesota Vikings defense. The Eagles ran all over the Minnesota Vikings defense. Now, like I said, I think Hurts is a fine quarterback. I'm not trying to put a cap or a ceiling on him, but to me, does he look like one of the top echelon guys, a top 5, top 7 guy? To me, he doesn't, but he sure looked like it against the Minnesota Vikings. That defense is something to be concerned about. And then offensively, Kirk Cousins in primetime showed once again why you can't trust him. I mean, god damn. It's 24-7. The score was like that for the majority of the second half. Kirk Cousins has 3 red zone trips for the Vikings. On all 3 of those, he was intercepted. The first one, okay, maybe a miscommunication with Justin Jefferson. I understand that. But that cost him 3 points. But the other 2 were just bad throws by Kirk Cousins, him trying to make something out of nothing, just forcing the issue, and that cost the Vikings points. We're talking about the Vikings who could have gotten 9 points off those drives. The score could have been 24-16, and now it's a one-possession game. Kirk Cousins, although he had statistically great seasons, he's one of those quarterbacks that can lose you a game as well. The cliche saying that, this quarterback won't win you the game, but he won't lose you it either. Kirk Cousins will lose you the game. And that's what we saw. I think the Vikings defense towards the end of the game, they were playing better. And I think that it's going to take some time for them to mesh because it is a zone scheme. It's a lot of new parts. They're going to take some time to understand their assignments, and I think they'll get better as the season progresses. But with Kirk Cousins, you can't trust him in big-time moments. Now, luckily for Vikings fans, there's only one more primetime game slated for the Vikings schedule. But the playoffs it's all primetime games. And Kirk Cousins has proven time and time again that he can't win in those type of environments. Darius Slay should have had 3 to 4 interceptions. I mean, he had 3 interceptions on Kirk Cousins. He should have had 4 or 5. Kirk got lucky on a lot of those plays because there was a lot of near interceptions. And for me, that's the biggest red flag with the Vikings is that Kirk Cousins, as much as I want to vouch for him, as much as I do feel like he's been slighted because I think he is better than people give him credit for, it's games like these that built his reputation. The whole world is watching when it's 8 o'clock, and Kirk Cousins has made a living out of disappointing at these primetime slots when everybody is watching. And that's why there's such a negative perception around Kirk Cousins. I don't think the Vikings can go very far with Kirk Cousins as quarterback. I think this is a talented roster. But if Kirk Cousins continues to lose the Vikings games, make boneheaded throws, he was trying to throw off his back foot, the Vikings aren't going anywhere. They have the talent. It's on Kirk Cousins to understand when and when not to take risks. And in this game, he chose the wrong moments to take risks. For the Philadelphia Eagles, they're legit. And I think so far, they have been the best team in the NFC. Let's just go division by division. The NFC South. You have the Buccaneers. That's the only really threat in that division because I'm not a believer in the Saints with Jameis Winston. The Buccaneers, they're always injured. The secondary can be exposed. Tom Brady, we know he's Tom Brady, but he is getting older. I would just say the Buccaneers are the second most legit team in the NFC. And what scares me about them is the injuries. That's what scares me the most. The NFC West, the 49ers, I think Jimmy Garoppolo, because of him, there's a limited ceiling on that team. But we know that when everything's clicking, they can go on a Super Bowl run or NFC Championship run, and they can make it that far. The Los Angeles Rams, they're concerning to me. They don't have much depth. Matthew Stafford's elbow is a concern. Because of that, I am a bit alarmed. The NFC North, the Green Bay Packers, their lack of wide receivers are why I don't think that they can go very far. The Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins, and the NFC East, I don't think Dallas has the roster Philly has, or Washington or the Giants. Philadelphia has the most complete roster in the NFC. They have the best offensive line in the NFC. You can argue they have a top 3 weapons room in the NFC. They have one of the better defenses in the NFC. Just if we're talking about from a talent perspective, their secondary is a top 3 unit in the NFC. You look at every single position group that the Philadelphia Eagles have outside of quarterback and linebacker, it's a top 3 unit in the NFC. What's going to take them over the top is how well Jalen Hurts can perform in those big-time moments, in those playoff games, and how well Nick Sirianni is going to coach. But this team has all the talent. Week 1, people were a bit alarmed because, you let the Lions score all these points on you. And then week 2 against Minnesota, who we all expect to be an offensive firepower, they hold them to 7 points. At the time of this recording, maybe Kirk Cousins scored a garbage time touchdown, which I know he's known for. But you hold them to 7 points. 3 interceptions on Kirk Cousins. It should have been more. The Eagles are the real deal, and they will go as far as Jalen Hurts takes them. And I do believe Hurts is capable of willing a team because I love his leadership. I love his moxie. His dual threat ability and his running ability allows teams to be on their toes, defenses to be on their toes. And in this game, he was making all the throws. I mean, he was making throws off his back foot. He was rolling out. He was making throws on a run. Jalen Hurts looked phenomenal. And this week has been the week of the young quarterback shining. Tua and Jalen Hurts, both guys who there is a bit of a cloud over them because we don't know how good they're going to be. They both, it looked like, had breakout performances. Now, Jalen Hurts is ultimately the piece that I think is going to tell us whether the Eagles are going to go far or not. But as of today, the Eagles, I can confidently say, are the best team in the NFC. These 2 primetime games, they were blowouts, but I think they taught us something about the Eagles and the Vikings, And well, we already knew the Bills were Super Bowl contenders, but let me know what your guys' biggest takeaway was from these Monday night games. Do you believe the Eagles are the best team in the NFC? Do you think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.